We gon' run up a check, run up tab, run up bill.
So, welcome to episode 3 of Business Fumbles. And I am your host, Sheila Williams. And today's guest, I, been working with them for a couple of years, and their product is just like amazing. And it's for, the industry of those that want to change their health and do something positive. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the mic over to them to let them tell you all about themselves and their business. So,
Thank you, Sheila. Thanks for having us.
Mhm.
So our business is under the CMOS. We make CMOS gel, juices, immunity shots, soaps, facial products. So if you're not familiar with CMOS is a natural decongestant. It can also be used to boost the immune system, give you energy. And then when it's applied to the skin, it also helps with rosacea, eczema, dry skin. So there's a lot of different benefits for
Overall,
CMOS.
it's a superfood. I've been taking it for about 3 years now. It's kind of like kombucha. It's kind of blew up in the past few years. But definitely the way that we produce it is a specific way. We like to get it in the exotic blends. We like to stand out from the crowd, make sure that the quality over the quantity. We also make sure that all of the spots that we get our product from are correctly checked and all that, tested for chemical wise and all that.
Yeah. And one thing that sets us apart from everybody else is we use a Kangen water machine.
Yeah.
And we use that
It's a
for
big deal.
every step of the process where, if you're familiar with the water in Las Vegas, we have really crappy water. So that was like one of the
Calcium.
first things that we invested in. It was about $7,000, but we bought it straight out, and we love our machine. We don't sell them or anything, but we absolutely love our
They
machine.
wanted us to sell them, but I don't think we want to jump into that. But it
Yeah.
definitely is something that we can use also for our own life. We use it for our vegetables, cleaning our vegetables, cleaning the product before we even use it. So none of the city water hits our product because I do find it's kind of gross that we have so many contaminants in it, calcium and all this different things like heavy metals. So
Mhm.
we are very specific when it comes to making our product.
Yeah.
Wow, that is
So-
great. So, why don't you tell us what led you into starting your own business and doing this? And how did it start off? Did it just start off as a hobby or?
Well, we were going through changes in our jobs. We were starting out we were actually at the end of our cannabis industry kind of like positions. We were kind of over it at that point.
Getting burnt out.
We were burnt out. We felt like we were getting used. Just another number. They can just replace you in a second. So when she came home with it one day, because somebody came into the shop she worked at, she brought it home for me because she knew that it was like good for mucus, and I have problems with that with asthma. Ever since I'd taken it since that day, I was just like so fascinated by it. It got to a point where we were like, well, maybe we should do this for our family and friends.
And this
it
is all
was-
when COVID started.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
everyone was on their health and wellness. Everyone was
So
trying to boost
scared.
their immune systems. I was scared. I didn't know anything. So I'm just like, I'm going to make this for my friends and family. I'm going to see where this goes. My dad was a huge supporter of us. He was like, you guys should turn this into a business. And
that's
next
when
thing
it
I
became
know,
serious. Yeah.
yeah,
He was starting to talk about the name, and we were like, what's a good name?
my dad actually came up with our
And we
name.
did under the CMOS. So it's
yeah.
kind of
Oh,
like,
wow.
So
it's very like what do you call it, oceanic kind of, and it's very
Yeah.
like whimsical, but it's a cool business because basically we do display like the culture of it as well, because it does come from Jamaica and St. Lucia.
Mhm.
And you have to respect the product that you're getting from. It's basically a plant, it's seaweed. You have to respect where you're getting it from, and if it's grown not naturally in pools and stuff like that, which there are a lot of people that produce it that way, then you're hurting people at the end of the day. You're selling a product that's just hurting people. So it's like, if you really want to get into it, it's just like every other thing, quality over quantity. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what industry it is, it's just definitely important.
So, seeing that you guys sell product that actually someone takes, was there any type of licensing or anything that you had to do? Because like if you're saying that this is gonna make you better, they have to most people have to go through that process of
Yes.
getting the approval. And did you guys have to do
So
that?
with that right now, because the FDA is still kind of like on tiptoes on it, they don't
Yeah.
want to approve it quite yet. So we do have our business license and all of our licensing for it, but I'd like to one day have it to where CMOS becomes fully FDA approved.
Mhm.
I see it as kind of something that you can't make a claim. You can't say that you're starting to heal cancer, or you're starting to heal asthma, or you're starting to heal this or that ailment. Basically, you let the customers see what they feel from it,
Mhm.
and from there they come back and they tell you, well, this is good product. I'm feeling it for my stomach, for this reason, for that reason. But yeah, we have all the licensing. It's kind of more the government part of it. The
Mhm.
government is kind of like, just like how marijuana is kind of like, oh, they're against
Yeah.
everything in that sense.
Uh-huh.
I mean, in the future, I hope to see it more blow up, especially because I do see it now in Walmart. You see it in Whole Foods and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, a
but-
guy was on Shark Tank for it too.
yeah,
Right.
you just can't make claims like anything nowadays. You start making claims, and then it's like
But
they come after
To
you.
answer your question, yes, you have to go through the Southern
All
Nevada
the-
Health District, especially if you want to be at these farmers markets.
Yeah.
You have to have insurance to be at these farmers markets. So there's a lot that goes into it. That's kind of why we stepped back from doing markets. Just it's so costly, and honestly, we sell out just from Instagram. We're having a hard time keeping up with just our inventory right now. So
Yeah.
eventually, we'd like to expand and have people working for us so that we can grow our company even more.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that is excellent. I know
Yeah.
that I use your product, and since I've been using it, it's helped me with my blood pressure, some of my stomach issues.
Yeah.
I know that you guys wanted me to document it more, and I'm like so busy and I'm all
That's
over the
all
place,
right.
but I love the product. And you shared with me a smoothie somewhat,
Strawberry,
like a
Oh,
yeah,
strawberry.
strawberry
yeah.
lemonade.
Oh, it was so good.
I'm glad you
And
liked it. I
yeah.
thought it was a little sour, so I think next time I'm going to tweak the recipe a little bit. But yeah, I think everybody really likes the strawberry lemonade, and I think for summer, especially since summer's
Yeah.
coming,
We do a lot of
It'll be
different
so
products because like the
refreshing.
juices are kind of more like on the go for people that are like busy. Then the gels are kind of like at home daily, and then we have the soaps for people that don't want to have like very chemically induced soaps that are like sold at normal stores. So it's like we do like to switch up the variations of our products so that it hits every market and every other different customer. Because I
Yeah.
mean, some people might not like the
Something
juice, some
for
people might not
everybody.
like the gel. And we even have it raw too. If you want to make your own sea moss, we make elderberry syrup, elderberry kits. There's all types of things. If you want to make it yourself, you don't even have to come. You can just get it from us and make it yourself
Yeah.
too.
It's
So-
fun too for people with kids,
Yeah.
It's kind of like a science experiment making it at home.
Yeah, it is.
And it's hands-on, so
Yeah. But then again, you guys use your machine for the water and stuff. So
exactly.
would you suggest that anyone else that's doing that to invest in something like
Yes. I don't know how to walk over this subject without being too straightforward, but I do notice a lot of companies say that they are alkaline CMOS, and you can't really prove that unless you're using that machine.
Yeah.
You can't just say, "Oh, I'm getting these water bottles and I'm making alkaline CMOS." So I do believe that if you're going to be a CMOS company, you should have some type of OR or RO system and
Mhm.
some type of calling in water machine, some type of thing that purifies the water, because it definitely is important. If you're putting in contaminated water, then you're ruining the product. It's like a sponge. It's very, very.
Yeah,
it's-
and a lot of
very
people
important.
don't know this, but if you go to a corner store, let's say, and actually test like alkaline water with strips, they're not actually the alkaline level that
the
they're
Fiji alkaline.
claiming to be. So a lot of alkaline waters, especially sold in plastic, are essentially just a gimmick.
Wow.
So that's something interesting that they've taught
Yeah.
us since we bought our machine.
I try to stay away from anything plastic. At first, yes, it was like, all right, well, how are we going to start this business? We would get big bottles of like
Spring
crystal
water.
glacier
We used
and
to
stuff
use
like
big
that.
bottles of spring water.
But then it got costly, and then you have all this plastic waste, and it's
Yeah.
like it's hurting the environment, and we're taking from the ocean. I
So
feel like
you
we have to
guys
give
are
back.
environment cautious.
We try to, yes.
We
Oh,
actually,
wow,
we
that's
actually
great. That's
were
great.
low waste.
Mhm.
We were composting
Composting.
all of our fruits and vegetable scraps for an entire year.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get back into it. It's just we have to find someone.
We
that
lost
wants
our
to-
person we were
yeah.
donating to, which was really sad for us because we feel really good, donating it and
Mhm.
it being repurposed for,
Because a lot of that waste goes into the landfill and it just
Exactly.
creates more methane. It's killing the environment. I mean,
Yeah.
why not use all these exotic scraps to put into like someone's garden? And I think we're gonna get more into that and dive more into that this year and try to go into like schools and find schools that are doing like little garden programs for the kids. See if we can maybe compost for them too. But it definitely helps because you don't want to throw away all that. It just you
Yeah.
feel it. You feel it on your conscience.
Well, you know what? That is amazing to know that your your product is something to help people, health wise, but then also you're conscious about, the environment and things like that. You know, my next question is, have you faced anyone saying that your product possibly made them sick or, something in
You
that
know what?
area?
We actually haven't experienced that lately. When we
Mhm.
first started our business, we did have a couple people who
Just texture.
mentioned that the texture kind of grossed them out. And we had one person say that they threw up afterwards.
Yeah.
But he also told us, like, hey, I am not a healthy person at all.
And it was the
I eat
raw.
fast food all day, every day. Like, I drink soda. So if you're not a health conscious person, or if you're not somebody that like eats relatively healthy, when you take the CMOS, you might get a little sick from it because when you're ingesting, your body's like, what is this? Like, this is a foreign
Well,
thing
the
to
thing
me.
is, it's trace minerals. And when we go over like the trace minerals, 92 out of the 102 of the body, you're not getting the full 92 minerals out of the body. You're getting trace minerals of it. But when you do
Mhm.
get those 92 trace minerals, your body gets a lot of energy. Because a lot of the time when we're taking like placebo vitamins and stuff like that, supplements, you don't feel it. You still feel gray kind of. But when you take the CMOS, you kind of feel like you just drank some coffee, but
Yeah.
without the crash. But I mean, I've loved the product ever since we found it. Like,
But yeah, luckily we haven't had that issue too
yeah.
much. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I just with you guys in that area, that's a big thing, but I know that, you guys have this issue. So my next question for you is, how do you deal with that? Number 1, the negative feedback. And then secondly, because of your industry, you have a lot of people that see that you do this, just like you said, you purchased it from someone and you guys came up with the idea, oh, I can do that. So it makes it where, all of these people are trying to come
Jump in.
into your industry. And when they do that, have you been attacked at that moment that, oh, well, don't get theirs, get mine's,
Ooh,
or something like that?
okay.
How do you guys deal with
All
that?
right. So dealing with the first question of like how we stay with like the texture thing, we when someone says they have a problem with something and I have bad feedback from it, yes, we take their feedback and right away we try to work with that. We'll make it a different blend. We'll make it less thick. A lot of the times when it's thick, it is hard to take. You have to mix it in with like juice or something. And then it gets to the fact when the raw or the flavored one. When you take the raw, it's a little earthy, and that's what kind of gives people that complaint, like, oh, this wasn't what I thought it was. It's really, really like it's really sea kind of like tasting at first. So when I tell people like when you first try and CMOS, try the flavors first. You might not like the raw. You might get grossed out. You might not like it at all, and it might take you away from CMOS altogether, and you might not want to try it ever again. But yeah, we like to like work with that feedback. I don't think negative feedback is bad feedback.
I think all
I like
feedback
feedback.
is good, whether
Yeah.
it's negative or not, because you can grow and learn from it, right? We're
Yeah.
not perfect. We're not always going to be on point. And I love when my customers give me feedback because that tells me, hey, like I didn't like this, or a lot of our customers will give us suggestions sometimes
Yeah.
too. Like with the strawberry lemonade, for instance, I had a
yeah.
couple people tell me, hey, like it was too sour, maybe a little bit more strawberry. And I've come up with a new way to add more strawberry to each star now. So
Yeah.
I think the next batch I'll be close to perfecting that recipe.
And flavors too. I've had customers give us flavor options too. I mean,
So you feel that feedback helps you to better your product. So
Yeah.
do you feel
growth.
that business owners need to have that same type of attitude?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think they should get
You should be able to take negative feedback and turn it into a positive from that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, negative feedback. I feel like people get consumed in that negativity, but really negative, it can always be a good thing that
It's
comes
not
out of
hate.
it.
It's more of like they're showing you to try to grow. I mean,
Yeah.
there's ways to grow. Everybody can grow. No one's best in their industry. Everybody can keep growing in their industry, I feel like. And then to tackle the second question on like competition and stuff, I don't find us to have competition. I think that me and her are our own competition. But yes, there is a lot of people out there, especially here in Vegas, that we've had to deal with. We've even had people try to take our name. We had to go get that trademarked. I mean, we're an S Corp too. We've even had people try to ask where we got our moss from. We've had people try to take our flavors. We have people taking our flavors. So I don't really care to explain who they are, but I mean, it kind of is like humbling. It's kind of like, okay, I guess our flavors are working because you guys are doing the flavors that we're
Yeah.
doing.
Oh, that is
So
a great attitude.
Yeah.
at first I
It
was a
took
little
a
mad.
lot for us to get there because at first, obviously, and you get a little bit irritated because you put so much time and effort into perfecting recipes and taking photos. There's a lot that goes into being a business owner,
Right.
and then for you to log online and see somebody kind of quite literally take your, what you're doing, like that is like,
Yeah.
it sucks, but at the same time, it's like it's
It-
kind of like flattery, sort
It
of.
also
'cause
gives
it's
us
like,
time to evolve. It pushes us to evolve more because we're like, oh, you want to follow this flavor? Let's see if we can keep up with all the next things we're gonna drop.
don't
Because you're
worry,
not
we
gonna
got
be
a
able
notebook
to.
at home with a
Yeah.
bunch of
It's
different
ridiculous.
ideas, so
I mean,
we're gonna keep everybody
we're
on
in
their
different
toes.
industries. I mean, yeah, we have this business, but I'm already been thinking with her to make an ebook for vegan
Yeah.
cookbook. So
Okay.
we have so many ideas. So it's like
Yeah.
keeping up with that. It will be hard for our competitors, but I think it's healthy. It is healthy.
Wow. And I feel the same way because, sometimes I look at people getting upset because they posted something and someone took their post and did the exact same thing.
Mhm.
And I always look at it as, all words are a part of our vocabulary.
Yeah.
And so they can take those same words and just add one or two different phrases and it becomes their
Yeah.
Yeah.
post. And so things like that, it doesn't really bother me because I feel like you guys, I've inspired them
Yeah.
to
Exactly.
do something different. So I don't get upset. And then too, with me, like you said, your mind is always going.
Yeah.
This is a business now, and to be an entrepreneur, you're always, exploring and advancing to something
Creating.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your creativity didn't stop there.
Yeah.
So, like you guys have a wonderful attitude about that,
Yeah.
And with people coming into your industry, I know that it does happen where they try to demolish what you're doing. How do you guys feel about that? Them attacking your brand? Because I feel like there's enough money out there for everyone. I
Everybody.
always say that.
There
And
is.
so it's not, you don't have to tear down the next person. But I want to hear from you guys how it makes you feel and what your advice to people that actually do that.
Yeah, we've had an issue once, and that's why we kind of don't do the markets as much anymore because we were like there one day and we had a person tell us that we would be the only vendor there that was selling the CMOS. The guy that had us there had another person there that was selling the same
The
product.
same
And he
products.
told us it wasn't going to happen like that. We got there, we did good still. But then a third vendor that wasn't even, it was a CMOS vendor, but she wasn't working. She was kind of like coming to buy stuff. She came to our booth and kind of just sat there and listened to our spiel the whole time. So I kind of see like how the city is. It's kind of like spy on spy. Like, okay, what are
What?
you doing? What are you doing? How are you supposed to do this? And then when we first had our supply, we were
Uh-huh.
getting it from someone we didn't know. We were still new to the industry. We were kind of just like gullible. So we were buying it at first from somebody, and supposedly this guy was selling it to everybody in Vegas, and he was ripping everybody off. So that person came to
Yeah.
me and said, "Did you get ripped off by this guy now? Who are you going through? I would love to go through the same person as you now," and all this stuff. And I felt it as like maybe they want to take our new CMOS that we have a new legit plug or a person to get it from, and they might try to compare it online to theirs or something. So I'm kind of very like I'm very like a walk on my tippy toes, even though
Uh-huh.
I know our stuff gets tested by the St. Lucian government. Our elderberries gets tested by the Ukraine government. It's all
Yeah, the
tested and
US
dried and
government.
everything US imported. We have the tax and seals and everything. So I don't have to worry about that if they want to compare it. But I do see that there's snakes in the grass. And I don't like saying that because I do like to compete. But it's nasty when you try to break another person down because this is our livelihood too at the same time.
The people who
And
are
yeah.
competing are at the bottom. The people who are collaborating are at the top. That's
Yeah.
the way I look at it.
Or ignoring
And if I'm out of
everybody.
CMOS and I know of a company that's local, I'm going to send my people to them and vice versa, you know,
Yep.
because there is a company that I do trust out here in Vegas. And that's just how it should be. You
Yep.
know, you shouldn't gatekeep or
Yeah.
slander other people's names online, especially if you don't really know anything about them as and their business. So it was a little difficult at first when we first started the business. You know, we're both kind of a little bit more of hotheads. And so
Aggressive, yeah.
obviously we're a little aggressive. And so, yeah, it did offend us a little bit. But now, you know, as we've been in business, what,
We're growing, yeah.
3.5 years?
Yeah.
It doesn't bother us anymore.
Yeah.
We're so focused on the future and what's ahead than what these people
The
are
worst
saying
has
or
already kind of
doing.
basically happened. I feel like, I
Yeah.
mean, when you try to take someone's name, that was the biggest one.
That
for
was
me.
the
It
biggest
like,
thing because I was like, my
really?
dad came up with that
And we
name.
were
Okay.
sitting there thinking of like the little Disney and all this stuff, and it's like
You know-
perfect for Ariel.
It's funny because, you know, I had someone send me a person that's using She Wins, you know,
Oh.
and she was a non-for-profit, and
Yeah.
she had to put hers as she, and then the wins, the space, and then put wins
Oh, okay.
behind it. And when it was sent to me, she was using my same colors,
Oh,
the black
no.
and gold and everything. And you know what? It didn't bother me at all. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's nice. And
Yeah.
then you have those people saying, oh no, you need to lock this out. You need to make her change it. And
Yeah.
I felt like you know, no, she's
Yeah.
doing something totally different from me.
Yep.
And She Wins is, hey, it's more like a one of those sayings that, you know,
Yeah.
hey, when, you know, she wins, you can go. You can go. With that being said, you know, like there's a lot of people out there that might want to use it. And I'm
Yeah.
not at that point. No one can use it because I've already taken it.
Yep.
If they do it, they have to put it in a different format.
Yep.
Like she couldn't put her words together.
Yep.
And so if someone else use it, then they're going to have to break it out even more, you know, and that doesn't bother me. But now with all of the stuff that I'm doing now, it's I'm at that point where now I'm going to have to like trade my market and lock it in because I got so much stuff that's
Yeah.
attached to it, like my podcast,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
So, you know, we just when you get to that point, you know.
Oh yeah. We were like that with the Instagram names. I know that sounds so weird, but the usernames at first I was like, no, we can't do Under the Sea Moss because somebody
It's
else had
taken.
that.
Yeah.
So we were like, all right, just add LV. Same with the site. I mean, like certain things you have to do to make it fit within like whatever
What you're
boundaries.
doing, yeah.
Yes.
I
So-
mean, I could send her a message on. She doesn't
Season
even really
assist, but
use the
she's not even
Instagram
using it,
page
yeah.
either.
Mhm.
So I could send her a message, but what is that going to do? You know,
Nothing.
people already know our Instagram name.
It'll probably
We
cause
got
more
over
drama.
3,000,
Yeah.
almost 4,000 followers.
Unnecessary
You know,
drama.
Nice.
But
just
Yeah.
no, I don't want to put any effort into that. So
yes.
So, how important is marketing for you guys?
Ooh.
You know, how do you go about the marketing? Have that been uh, uh, something that's been a touchy spot for you guys?
So I think it's like you have to distribute it in every single source, meaning physically, social media, with friends and family, everything you can think of, to shirts, merch. Like we basically market it through obviously our online, which is the IG, Instagram. That's our main one.
Yeah.
But it sounds crazy, but I love to put stickers up all around the city. I mean, it's free
Oh, wow.
advertisement. I haven't been in trouble for it. I mean, it's not illegal.
We actually get a lot of
Get a lot
customers
of
that
people are
find us
like,
that
"Whoa,
way.
what's this? This is a CMOS sticker," and they go and search us and they find us that way. I mean, there's ways to do it, and you put your little Instagram handle, and we want to make a new sticker that has our website and whatnot. But yeah, we're definitely like trying to find new ways of doing it. Like if she has an event, she'll pay the ad to pop up on Instagram or Facebook, and
In
Mhm.
those do
today's
pop
age, you
up.
have to be on social
Oh
media. Like,
yes,
Okay.
if you're not on social media, what are you doing, you know? And
yes,
so for me, I put a lot of effort into Instagram, Facebook, we have a TikTok, but with all these apps, there's a lot, you know?
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Facebook's the main one. Facebook and
Facebook and
Instagram,
Instagram are the main, but honestly, word of mouth.
word of
When
mouth.
somebody takes it and has a good experience, they're going to tell their best friends. They're going to tell their mom. They're going to, they're going to tell people. And that's
Yes.
honestly where we get majority of our referrals and
Yeah.
people that come to us.
Yes. And I do like to spread that light on the sticker thing because you might go into the city and you're like, oh, well, that looks trashy over there downtown or this, and that. But could be a sticker area that has like 10 different
Small
businesses.
businesses.
And that right there, you basically are collaborating. And from there, you can add them. You can add them. You go into a restaurant like say Taco Terry, and they have a community board. We leave our business cards there. We try to leave our business cards out of all the vegan because we are vegan. We've been vegan for a while now. So
Wow.
we definitely go into all of our vegan spots and leave our cards, any yoga thing. She has a yoga event coming up with some of her good
I host some
friends,
yoga.
Sound Bath. So we'll be there doing samples and having our products. So there's definitely like different ways to market. But you have to be aggressive in all sorts. You have to do all different ones because if you're doing just one specific one, say if I was just doing Instagram or I'm just doing the stickers or I'm making everyone just wear shirts, it's not going to work. You have to
Yeah.
have your army. It's like a bunch of soldiers going out there and talking for you in a way. So
I could probably do more with the
we
advertising.
could.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like, especially with social media, people have short attention
Yes.
spans.
Yes. Very.
And so with the videos, especially with TikTok, I haven't kind of figured out TikTok, but I think if I get back on there and actually mess with the app, we could probably get some new
And
customers.
we were
that
thinking
way.
about wrapping our car or getting some magnets too. I just got a
Yeah.
Prius for the business. So I was like,
Yeah.
let's put a
Well,
little
I-
magnet on there.
I had things on my car, and when I had my magnets on my car, I did get, calls from it, but I haven't put it back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it might be something that I do, but I have so much stuff going
Yep.
on, you know.
Yeah.
So, your business, you guys' business is so amazing. And your product, I use it. I know a lot of other people that use it, but let's discuss some of the business components.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's get into that. When you guys started, you were a LLC, right?
I think we started
We
off as
actually
an S corp.
started
Yeah,
as an
yeah.
S corp
Yeah.
for
Oh,
your
okay.
recommendation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we were going in with the
Thinking of an
intention of getting an
LLC.
LLC, and you kind of
Yeah.
put it in a different perspective for us
It's
that we
kind
didn't
of
even know.
the situation of our product is kind of like, oh well, if you have an LLC, you can kind of take everything if something happens. So it's like S corp is more of like a beneficial thing
Protect
for
your
us to-
assets and
yeah.
all that stuff. So
And can you go into detail how that helps you?
yeah.
Well, I think that because of that, I think it gives us more of a name too. Because when you see LLC, I mean, yes, LLCs are great and all, but when you see an S corp, it definitely gives you more of a stature and within your business. Like, oh, they're taking this seriously. This is something that like it can go down one day. Like, I mean, there's Walmart's a corporation. We have all these different corporations out there, and I don't say that I want to become as big as Walmart or any of these corporations, but I do believe that if you start off big, you have big dreams, and that's
Yeah.
how you can get forward. And our business model has changed a lot. Like taking orders, for example, all the way from what's the menu for the week. It fluctuates. It's kind of crazy. In fact, like every week is different, and she can dive more into it. But it's like you might not get as many sales from the way that you ran it that week, or it might be like, oh, we sold out. Now we have to make more. Like, oh shoot, this isn't. It's a good thing. It's a blessing, but it's like, oh dang.
Now
so,
you have to work. You have to get up and work. It's not like working a 9 to 5 where it's like, okay,
the
you come
structure's
in and
different.
you're like, all right, you're gonna do X, Y, and Z today. No, you have to wake up and you have to plan and you have to orchestrate that
We
together.
get the ingredients. So you can't even get the ingredients. You have to set up. Basically, we set up a pre-order list, and from there we see who wants what, and then from that we get our ingredients, and then from there the delivery system occurs, whether it's going to be a pickup or a drop off. It's
Mhm.
very intricate. In fact, like there's a lot to do with it. Um, and
You guys sell
with
out all
with
the
us too,
time.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Because it's
yeah.
hard for me sometimes. I'm
I
like,
know.
hey, I
I
need a
feel
new
so
jar. And you're
bad.
like, oh, well, we're not doing it until
Sometimes I
Wednesday.
don't
And it's
even
like,
have any.
what?
I
Like, I'm
know.
going to have to go with 2 days without my CMOS. What's going
Yeah.
on here?
That's
So you
us.
guys sell out pretty well. But, like having a business structure,
Mhm.
like some people, they start off as that LLC. You guys was fortunate to
Yeah.
start off and not
Yeah.
mingle your personal with your business.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
has that worked for you? Talk about how it worked, because I know you guys just bought a house.
Yes.
So talk
Yes.
about how that helped you.
So I,
One of the best things I think we did starting out was we got a business bank account, and that made it so easy for us to track
Figuring
everything
out what's
business
going in and out.
related. Because I know that's a mistake that a lot of people make when they first start a business is they're using
Put
their
it in all
personal
together.
accounts.
Yeah.
And yeah, luckily we were fortunate enough to live with my dad at the time, so we were saving like
Saving, yep.
crazy. We didn't know at the time what we were saving for, but we started to see our account grow and grow and grow, and that right there was like the push to like keep going.
I think that S Corp is what would made it able for us to even get into the realty market. In fact, I feel like if it was just an LLC, I don't know if we would have taken it serious to that level. And like I see it as growth. Like I want to be able to say, hey, well, if we want to get a delivery car again in the next few years, or want to reinvest in another house and rent this one out, and then all this residual and all this money that it's coming in, obviously it's going to go back into the business too.
Right.
This business is what made us grow. It's our blueprint. It's what makes us grow from the beginning and outwards. It's kind of like a spider web in a sense.
And with the S
But
Corp, you guys pay yourself. How
Yeah.
does that work?
Yes. Yeah, so I actually do the payroll for us, and that's
Yeah.
been fun for me because I've never experienced that before. So now I can actually log in and yeah, so we actually get a pay stub and we can say, hey, we get paid, X amount per
we
month.
definitely were
and-
learning. Like I know how to do it. Obviously, she's the one that takes care of all of it. But
Yeah.
definitely, it's a learning experience, and it's different when you get a check that you made all that money from, and it's
Yeah.
you paying yourself out, and you're like, oh, whoa. And at the end of the year, it's like it definitely you have to learn about the situation on how it's set up with the taxes and everything. Because at
Yeah.
first, yes, so the first few years we didn't know what was going on with the payroll and like the taxing, and now we're all set up. It's
I'm
getting
glad that you got us
taken
on
out the
payroll.
taxes,
Yeah.
and it definitely is an experience. But I
I
think
lo-
to grow,
For me, I love when I'm going out and I'm purchasing stuff and they say, okay, what's your income? I love being able to say, well, here's my pay stub. And I don't have to give
Exactly.
them my information, my business bank accounts and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I just give them my check stubs, and my check stubs say I make enough to get what I want. They don't have to get
deep.
they don't have to get deep all in my business.
Yes.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
They don't have to know every dollar
They
I
don't
that
have
like
to
you
that.
know
yeah.
every dollar.
I'm,
But then when you get to the larger, that's what I like, because at the end of the year, you have your W-2 and then you have that K-1 from your business. So they say, oh, well, your income is only, $60,000. And then you was like, no,
Look at
I
the
got
big-
my K-1. And it's like, bam,
bam. Yeah.
Exactly.
That does feel good. Yes,
Yeah.
it does. Yeah,
Mhm.
I do believe that it was a learning experience at
Yeah.
first with that payroll, but I like where we're at right now because it's definitely like out through the years we've seen how much it changes with the paycheck kind
Yeah.
of, and like how the adjustments of like how everything's going up in costs with the
Yeah.
economy and everything. So it's kind of like, wow, I mean, we're doing this, we're pushing forward. I mean, it's different when it's like a 9 to 5, and I don't knock a 9 to 5. I worked a
Right.
9 to 5 a bunch too, and I've sometimes think about, oh well, so maybe I should get a side gig too so I can get further ahead. But I do feel like it's authentic, and I don't have to like go out of my way and like be forced in a sense.
Yeah.
Like a
And
lot
you
of the
feel
time.
like real business owners. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
That part.
And so why don't you tell everyone your input and the importance that you put on having accounting and bookkeeping and stuff like that?
Ooh.
I knew nothing about bookkeeping, and I have a couple of friends that do it themselves, but their businesses are like more of a side business than
Yeah.
anything. But they tell me how much of a headache it is. So it's been a blessing, honestly, because
Yeah.
yeah, I track all the orders and I do send it to you guys monthly, with our bank statements and
Feels
everything.
good to
But
get double verified
yeah, it
with that
feels good
part.
to have you guys, categorize everything and be like, okay, this is how much you're spending in gas a month, and this is how much you guys are spending on supplies a month, and oh, this month was a little bit high. Let's do better next month. That kind of motivates me and pushes me
Yep.
to do better each month.
To try
So
Yeah.
new things and get a better revenue, or
mm,
try to figure out how we can market better, or whatever we need to do to get to where we are. Because like a goal for us, I mean, it could be anywhere. Like in the beginning, it was like, I don't remember, it was like 4 or 5,000, 6,000 a month. Now it's like
Yeah.
we're getting closer to 7, 8. Now we want to do 10, 12. It continuously increases. It's like it definitely is
it's
a growing
motivational when you
experience
Yeah.
see.
too.
And that's
But
what I like to tell people that sets us apart, because we do that bookkeeping, but we give you a lot of information. We
yeah,
break it down and say, okay, guys, this is what I see. Even when you guys are just like at, you know, um, a
sense
standstill,
though.
and it's like, okay, what kind of marketing are we doing? What we're
Exactly.
doing, we
Yep.
need to get those numbers to fluctuate and go up. That's
Yep.
what we like to see.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people don't put importance on bookkeeping, but you guys were, I have to say it, you were like the first person that I have, and I have, a list of businesses that I help, but you guys were the only ones that started off with coming and saying, "Hey, we want to start a business. What would you
Suggest,
suggest?"
Yeah.
yeah.
I
And
was
you
like, if we're
started
gonna
off
do
as
it, we're gonna
fresh.
do it right.
Yeah.
I don't want to do. I don't play around with taxes and Uncle
Yeah.
Sam. I don't want the IRS coming after me. You know
Well,
what
it's
I
like a
mean?
car thing. Like I can
So
change my oil and do all that stuff, but a lot of the time I like taking it in because I know I have that security blanket of like they're professional, they know what they're doing.
yeah,
I have slip ups sometimes. Like when you have a double check and it reminds you kind of like, I mean, we're not perfect. We're all human in a sense.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
But a lot of people don't feel that way. They don't put the
yeah.
importance on it. And so that's why it's important for you guys to speak to them and say, hey, doing
Start
this
this way.
has, prevented this, and that.
it saves me a lot of headache. That's for
You know,
sure.
like later
Yeah.
I
on.
don't worry about it.
Well,
That's
we
one thing that I don't stress about monthly because I know you guys got my back.
And
yeah.
you also are learning because now you know how to read your financial statements. So when something's not right, which it has been, and you guys called us and say, hey, well, what
Yeah.
about this? And then I'm looking at it and I'll say, okay, yeah, you guys got to change that. They're right.
Yeah.
So that's what we want. We want the business owner to be able to look at those financials and say, something ain't right.
Yeah, it's like a double
know,
accountability in a
right.
sense. I do see that, and I like it because at the same time, it's like, I don't see myself being perfect, and she's not perfect either. And
Mm-hmm.
when we have someone else in our shoes, in a sense, it kind of shows that we all care for one another in a sense too, because
Right.
it is important. I mean, I obviously we work with you. You won't want a business that's not doing good. You want
Yeah.
a business that's doing good, like
Right.
And
and
we have those months where it's like, it's
even
hard.
out or it's
It's
Yeah.
hard.
it's hard to maintain that goal that we have, and
Yeah.
it depends too on like let's for instance February.
Yeah.
February was a hard month for us. It was Valentine's Day, it was Super Bowl. A lot of people weren't spending money, so
Mhm.
we kind
Yeah.
of broke even that month, and
Yeah.
you're going to have months like that, but don't allow
It's
those
not
months
discouraging.
to discourage you and keep you down. If anything, it should motivate you to do more,
Because
you know?
that month we
Yeah.
thought we didn't do good in the beginning of our business was probably our best month in a sense. Like so, I mean, at the same
It's
time,
gonna
it's a blessing
fluctuate.
too.
Yeah. I know I know with us, if you suffer a loss or you're flat, then they call you in. And I don't think that you've ever gotten an email from us saying, hey, Sheila needs to see you guys because your
Yeah.
I try
numbers are
not.
not good.
Yeah.
And some of my biggest clients,
Yeah.
that makes really, really good. They're large. They've gotten that email from me like, okay, guys, it's 3 months in a row. I need you guys to come in. What's going on?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we're digging into it and seeing what's going on and how they can change it because we don't want to see that negativity. And like
Oh
you
yeah.
said, it's like we're a family because when you get to that point and I say, okay, listen, I'm going to turn your bookkeeping off and I
Yeah.
get met with resistance like, well, why are you dropping? And it's like, no, we're not dropping you. We're still here.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure that you can afford what we're doing.
Yeah.
So let's work on turning those numbers around and we're still here. We're going to work with you and then we'll turn it back on.
Yeah.
So having an accountant that's more like a family is very important. And it's
Yeah.
important for, one thing I can appreciate about you guys is when you did come to me, you had a lot of questions
Yeah.
and you made sure that you had the answers. Had I not given you those answers, you probably would have walked out and said, nope, this is not
Yes.
working because I'm not getting what I need.
Yeah.
So it's good to have that.
Yes.
So that's really, really good. So now
Well, I think it helps having her too, because she'll be like in the middle of the month, like she'll be, oh, we're not at that number. We need to get going. Like, yo, we need to make this go to this and that go there. Like,
I'm always
she'll be
aware
on
of the
top of
numbers.
it. Like,
Yeah.
I know I'm on top of it too, but like, she's like, yeah, this is our goal. We need to get to it. Like, come on, like.
and how important is setting goals?
I
Do
think
you
that's
Extremely
very
important, especially when you work for yourself.
You won't grow if not. I mean, for
No.
any industry. I mean, I also skateboard too, and I feel like if you don't set goals for certain things and put certain boundaries, you're not going to grow at all. I mean,
Right.
yoga wise and any industry, like a lot of things, I feel like you won't grow if you
Even
don't
in
have goals.
friendships too.
Yes.
Like if you're hanging around people that don't have goals,
Where are you
you're going to be
going?
the next person with no goals.
Yes.
Wow.
We're
That-
learning that too
You
as
want to
as we're
stay
growing.
around people that are either at your
Leveling
level
up.
or at a higher level, not because of like, not just be arrogant or anything, so that you can learn from those people.
Mhm.
Wow.
Because you might think that you're rich, but you don't know until you meet that rich person.
I'm so glad you guys brought that up because I say things like that. Like with me, I always tell people that my line of thought is more on a spiritual level, and it says, what you hang around is what you become.
Yeah.
And so giving other people that, and they're like, I think differently, and that's
Yeah.
fine.
And that's cool.
But in business, I think it's very important that you touched on that because if you're running a business and, like for me, I want to ask you both this question.
Yeah.
Do you set limits on your monthly revenue?
Limits?
No.
No.
I think
We
that there
haven't,
should never
no.
be. I mean, it'd be nice to make
The sky's the limit.
twice the amount that we make now. I mean, if we could double
Right.
what we make now out of nowhere, I'd love it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, and that takes work. So, I mean, right now we're trying to start our Shopify account, and there's ways to do it. It's just you need to put that work in if you want to see no limit. I mean,
Right.
nothing has a limit to
There's
it.
no limit.
It's your own limit. You're limiting your own self, in
Yeah.
And
fact.
see, and you guys get that because you started off right. But most people, they will start their business and they'll set that limit. Okay, I need to make $5,000 this month. And when you do that, you have just, taken out the true meaning of business and entrepreneurship because now you've said it where I'm just making enough to pay my monthly bills.
Nothing
And
more.
therefore,
be
it is
fine.
not a business. But
Yeah.
when you have that goal and you don't set those limits, hey, like you said, the sky is a limit. And people need to understand that when you have a business, you cannot set limits.
Yeah.
That's because when you set limits, you are number one, you're removing the whole business concept. And
Yeah.
then number two, you're limiting yourself.
Growth.
You're
Yeah.
saying, okay, well, this is all I need. And once you get to that 5,000, usually everyone just stops. And then they
Yeah.
start it back the next month. Okay, I need to
Yeah.
make 5,000, and that's just not really a business, mindset. you
Yeah, I
know.
don't like limits because then I mean, like, who knows that $5,000 limit? If you didn't have that limit, you could be at 10, 15,000 because you didn't limit yourself, or you could go in negative and hit three because you're putting limits on yourself. So it could be a negative in both ways. I mean,
I also
I,
believe in the power of
that
manifestation. So
too.
if you're manifesting $5,000 for yourself for the month, you're probably just gonna get about five thousand
5,000.
dollars.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if you're saying, universe, I'm manifesting
trying.
whatever comes, you could hit a $10,000 month.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it just depends,
You just have to believe in yourself too. I
Mhm.
mean, like, we didn't think that we were going to be hitting seven, $10,000 months at all, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes it's just like we didn't think of it happening at all, and it's just boom right there within half the month. Not even at the end of the month. We're like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Right.
So it definitely is takes you by out of regard. Like, okay, so when you don't do limits, you're showing that yourself that you can just continuously grow. Like anything in nature, just like a tree. A tree just keeps growing if you just let it. You don't chop it down.
Yeah. So, my last question is, and I want you guys to really horn in on this. What advice would you give to any upcoming entrepreneurs or anyone that's out there that's struggling, to get their business off the ground? What would
Ooh.
be your advice to them?
Well, the first thing is the transition period, being the income. We all have bills. No matter what, you have bills. So if you need to make sure that I feel as if make sure you have structure before you go into your business. Know that you have an income still at a side job or side gig. Don't just get rid of everything and say, I'm going to make this business here today, because a lot of those types of businesses, they fail. You need
Mm-hmm.
to kind of have backup revenue coming in. Not saying that some people have it differently. Some people, their parents will give them money for it or whatever, vice versa. But the thing is, I feel like when you're doing it, you kind of like have to take your time. You have to, you don't just jump into it, because like how you said, we went and we were like, we researched it. We were like, what would be better, an LLC or an S corp? But we knew coming in, we were kind of like, all right, our mindset on the S corp, which I do recommend most people with businesses look into the difference between an LLC and an S corp, and from there go forward. Don't just jump in because you hear that your cousin or your best friend said, oh, I have an LLC, you need to get one too. Um, some people are, some things are different for different people. You know what I mean? Like the shoe doesn't fit for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It really is that. And my main other advice is take your time with yourself. Don't be so hard against yourself. Like I feel like the first year I was so scared to fail. I didn't know if she felt that way too, but I felt like, dude, if this doesn't go forward, like this is our livelihood. Like it got a little emotional for me the first year, because I was just like, as a man, you want to make sure that you're doing good too. So I mean, like, step back, know that you're doing all the steps. Don't rush things.
Mm-hmm.
Take your time with things. I'm not saying take forever, but definitely take your time with things when you jump into becoming an entrepreneur, because it's not just I'm going to sell a product. It's not I'm just going to make this much amount this month. You need to be happy with your customers. You need to be happy with yourself. You need to be happy with the industry. You need to be having good relationships with everybody, your supplier, your accountant, everybody, because then that comes together and your business does good. Because you can feel it when something's off.
Yeah.
We either argue with each
Yes.
other, you're sad, something, the numbers aren't right. You definitely feel it. But
My advice would be go wherever you feel that you get the most inspired. So, like for me, it's nature. And I always go to nature to get all my answers, right? And that's kind of like where got the idea to start the business, because before this, I was just like, oh, I'm going to take this product, whatever, it's cool. But when I went out to nature and I had this thought, I was like, you know what? I could turn this into a business, and I'm going to be true to myself and authentic to myself. And I feel like that's a lot of people make that mistake when they're starting a business, is they go whatever way is popular or
yes,
Yeah.
cool at the
yes.
time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of
Yeah.
just staying true to yourself.
Yep.
And I feel like too, you could start out that way, but eventually you allow whatever's trending and cool to kind of take over.
Take over.
You're trying to
Yep.
But
like how everybody has a t-shirt company nowadays.
Yeah.
exactly.
Everybody
And
has
one thing
this
that
and
I'm
that.
proud to say that we've done the entire time is stay true to ourselves and our beliefs, and giving back to, For Ocean, for instance, who, if
Clean up a lot of plastic from our oceans. It's
Mhm.
kind of
Mm-hmm.
nasty. If you go into their website, you guys can definitely see what they do over at 4Ocean.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've even given back to like when the Texas Relief Fund. we've given back to. There's plenty of other ones.
Community, just
Yeah,
to
we've done a
reaching
plastic
out to the
pickup,
community
plastic
and
pickups in Mount Charleston, all types of
Wow.
stuff like that, like kid friendly, dog friendly. I do want to do more of those as the warming kind of gets this season. But
Wow.
and also don't be discouraged when your close friends and family aren't supporting your business, because that was one thing that I was getting a little bit discouraged about at first, because, you know, my mom, my dad, they always supported me. But like my close friends and family, I do have a couple close friends and family that did support me. But don't let that get you discouraged, because you will find your people, and we have
Yes.
found
Yeah.
our people.
Right.
the every day, every week.
Oh,
ones,
yeah.
We
they're
get
loving it.
messages every week like,
Are
I
you
don't know
making
what
it?
I would do without you guys.
Yeah.
And do you
Yeah.
know how that makes us feel?
It scares me too, because I want to evolve and get another business too
Mm-hmm.
eventually one day. And I'm like, you know what? We can't just let go of something, because it's like people love this. This is helping them.
Yeah.
Like we have
Right.
people that
It
have
keeps
taken
us
that,
going.
that have Crohn's and stuff like that and digestive issues. And obviously I'm not telling that it's healing them, but like if the person is telling me it's helping them, what do you want me to do? Like
Yeah.
at that point, like
I'm glad you guys
but-
brought that up, because it's very important to know that everybody is not going to support you. With my business,
oh,
you
yeah.
know, my family looks at me as being successful, but I can count on, you know, both hands how many of my family and friends that I do services for. So you are absolutely right.
Yeah.
But so why don't you tell our audience how they can reach you guys? Tell them your handles for your website. Tell them anything you have in the works coming up, you
Oh, yeah.
know, for them to sort of like interact with you, to ask questions, you know, and get information from you concerning your businesses or your services.
All right.
Sure. Yeah. So we are on Facebook. You can look us up under the CMOS Incorporated. Our Instagram name is under the CMOS LV for Las Vegas.
That's our main.
And I believe
account.
that's our TikTok name too, under the CMOS LV. If you want to reach out to us personally, we have a Gmail account under the CMOS LV at gmail.com.
We'll be starting our Shopify this year as well. So if
And our website handle is under the CMOSLV.com.
yep.
Right.
So
There's ways to get to us if you need us. And yeah, if you have any questions too, you can always feel free to DM us on our Instagram too, like any tips or hints on anything. We're not too scared to talk to no one. We definitely are cool with everybody. We like to make sure like you feel comfortable, because like you never know, we could be talking to the next big thing, and you don't know. That's why you kind of have to be humble in a way. Be humble,
Open-minded.
open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
So
And on your Shopify, what will they be able to get?
ooh, so yeah, of course we do our weekly fresh CMOS here in the city on Instagram, but on the Shopify, this is more for like people across because we've already had these issues where like say we wanted someone to buy from Hawaii, it was like $80 to ship, but the jar is like
Yeah.
30. So we kind of like, you have to fight against these things. So we found a way to make an at-home kit to make elderberry, an at-home kit to make the sea moss. We have the dried soaps online. We're gonna do the merch.
our birch will be on there.
And yeah, probably do some other things too. Soursop leaves to make soursop tea. We're
Oh,
going to be
wow.
doing eventually when I get to the ebook, I'd like to put our ebook on there. So it'll be like a vegan ebook where you can click it and it'll be all these healthy alkaline like links on how to do that. So that's something in the works. I'm very
Yeah.
proud of that one.
And when
too,
you guys
so,
get your ebook, you got to come back.
yeah.
Yeah.
We got to talk about that ebook.
I have a lot of
Okay?
people
I know.
bothering me about it. They're like,
Our
you better get to it.
customers,
Yeah.
they're like,
We got
wait.
3 already.
And you guys should do, you know, like, you know how I am. I'm always throwing things out there, but you can also do a recipe book.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because, you know,
The sky's the
everybody
limit.
Yes.
is trying to get out there. So, hey, you know, you have a way of doing it. It is the product is good. I don't have any complaints. I love my, you know, I get this. The only thing is I get the same flavor.
The pineapple passion.
Yeah,
The
that's
pineapple
all I
passion's
get.
the best flavor.
And I'm out, so I need one.
I got
That's
you.
the best flavor. It
Yeah.
tastes like a
Honestly, it's
tropical
the best.
applesauce.
Yeah.
Although pineapple orange is another popular one. We
Yeah.
also have pina
Yeah.
colada.
I might be
So
doing a new juice. I give out these ideas. I don't mind if
I
people
love
know.
that
We're gonna
elderberry
do
juice
like
too.
yeah,
I
elder
love it.
it
ooh
helps
You
with
know,
allergy.
yes,
I'm having
and it
terrible
tastes so
allergies right now.
good.
Yeah.
You
yes.
know, because
Kids
I
love
use
it.
it in smoothies, like my vegetable smoothie, and it sort of like takes that
Acidity and all that
yeah, it takes
greenness.
that you don't
The
sort of
earthy
taste it as
flavor.
much,
Yeah.
right?
People
So
Yeah,
always tell me it tastes like pie.
yeah,
I
it's
think
the
it's because of the
cloves. It
clove
makes it
and the
taste like
cinnamon,
Thanksgiving.
maybe the
yeah.
ginger. I don't know. It's
Yeah, and
funny.
just be on the lookout for new flavors. I mean, I'm gonna drop a new sea moss gel for summer, and then for the juice, we're gonna try maybe like a mango sour sop because sour sop's a very hard fruit
Ooh,
to find.
Soursop is very hard
yeah.
to
So
find.
we're hoping to
Very
make some new
expensive.
flavors, but
Yeah.
Well, I certainly appreciate you guys
Thank
coming
you.
on.
yeah,
You guys have really, gave us some really good information. I appreciate you guys for coming on, and I appreciate all of you guys that's listening in. This is another episode of Business Fumbles, and I want you guys to, interact with them, ask them questions because they are here to, just like I'm here, to give you education, on business mistakes. And always remember that education and information that you learn is useless if it's not shared. So we
yes,
want people to share it. I can be reached. My Instagram page is She Wins 1919. My Facebook is the She Wins Bookkeeping Inc. You can find me on Facebook, and TikTok is She Wins Williams. Yes, I need to change that. And, follow me on those sites. And if you want to be a guest on this podcast, DM me and so that we can, get you on and talk to you about your business. But again, I thank all of you, out there that's listening, and a special thanks to my guests,
Thank
thank you
you.
for
under
having
the sea
us.
moss.
Yay.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having us.
We gon' run up a check, run up tab, run up